Hi everyone, my name is Kaylee and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Okay everybody, hello, happy Saturday. I hope that you all are having an amazing day. I don't really have any updates for you guys, so let's just get into today's story time. I'm gonna bring you guys up close. There we go. Okay, so for those of you who may be new here, I'm going to do my quick usual little rundown. For most of the video, I'll be looking in this direction because my mirror's over here and I would like to see what I'm doing. I do tell these story times in a first person point of view, so if you don't like that, then you can leave.
There's the door. There's the door, bitch!
And these story times are sent in by anonymous people. Okay, so story time about how both of our exes tried to make our lives a living hell. Seriously. So a little background information. We are going to rewind back to whenever I was in kindergarten because that is where I met Jake, aka the boy that I was in love with. All the way from kindergarten to 8th grade. Jake was a hockey player, and let me tell you something. I'm Canadian, and hockey boys are all the rage here in Canada. They're like football players in the US. The only shitty part is the hockey boys are fuck boys. Like, they literally live by the phrase, bros before hoes. Come on now. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are some winners out there, but not in my experience. Anyways, back to Jake. So, I was so in love with this kid that any type of attention from him was good attention. Even if it was him starting drama or making fun of me, I didn't care. But between me and you, most of the time, it was not good attention. Well, then in 7th or 8th grade, it turned into flirting instead of him making fun of me. Or us making fun of each other. Because, I don't know why, but I feel like something changes between 7th and 8th grade where you realize, oh wait, I kind of like this person. Maybe I should stop making fun of them. If that makes sense. Anyways, that's what happened with me and Jake. But in my head, I really thought that in high school, him and I were going to end up dating or, I don't know, becoming something. But that idea slowly started to fade as we got closer to high school. And then it completely disappeared whenever we got into high school. We would still sit with each other and talk on the bus. But the flirtationship / friendship that we had definitely faded as we met new people. I ended up being okay with this, especially whenever my best friend introduced me to her boyfriend, Grayson, who was 2 years older than us. Trust me, I know what you guys are thinking, but I want to let you know that is not where this is going. Okay? Anyways, he was honestly the perfect guy. And I'm also not gonna lie, I was shocked at how fast my best friend found a boyfriend. Not just a boyfriend, but a good boyfriend. But then again, now that I think about it, she was boy crazy. Like, really boy crazy. So I'm not that surprised. But her being boy crazy is what also led to them breaking up 2 weeks after they got together. So after they break up, Grayson adds me on Snapchat. And instantly we clicked. Like, in the blink of an eye, him and I were talking every day, texting, FaceTiming, day and night. And we talked about literally everything and anything. It never felt awkward. So finally, fast forward to February, we both realized that we have unintentionally caught feelings for one another. Yes, we did. And right away, I went and talked to my best friend about this because there was no way I was ever going to go behind her back and risk her and I's friendship. Especially not for a man. No, that's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, I asked her if her and I can meet up, and I'm like, hey, would you be okay if Grayson and I dated? Like, you know, we really like each other. And she said yeah, because they had only been together for 2 weeks. Also, she had already moved on to the next. So immediately after this, Grayson and I start dating. During this time, Jake and I were still Snapchatting each other every day, and we would still talk on the bus. But it felt like we were old friends who just didn't know how to act around each other anymore. Especially because he had a girlfriend, now I had a boyfriend. And with our relationship always being flirtatious, it was weird to act any other way. Anyway, so a little bit more about Grayson and I. Even though we were getting super close, he had kind of a messed up home life that I'm not really going to get into. But if I have to give you an idea of what it was like, I would say that he lived in a militant household. Very strict, okay? Very, very strict. Like, he rarely got to go anywhere except for school and work. We would occasionally get to see each other, on a weekend here and there. But even then, it didn't feel like we had that much time together because he wasn't allowed to hang out during the evening. Fast forward to March of my sophomore year and Grayson's senior year, COVID hit. And as y'all know, nobody was allowed to leave their homes. And I'm not gonna lie, this really put a strain on our relationship because not only could we not see each other, but his parents started taking his phone. Yeah, at his grown age of almost 18, they're taking his fucking phone away from him. Be so fucking for real. Anyways, so because of this, we barely got to talk to each other. And when we did talk, we were arguing because of how opposite our lives were. Like, he was working full time. I was at home 24/7 going crazy. And listen, I know that this was not his fault, okay? I know that if he had a choice, he would have spent all of his time with me. Now, I think that if I had a job during that time, it wouldn't have been as bad because I would have had a distraction. But sadly, that was not the reality of our situation. And I just couldn't do it anymore. So I ended up breaking up with him in June of 2020, which, if I'm being honest, I don't think it would have ever gotten that far if we were able to see each other even a handful of times. A little side note, okay? Back when my ex and I were in high school, most of the time that him and I got into arguments were whenever we hadn't seen each other for a few days. And I feel like it's like this with a lot of young couples that don't get to see each other often. And I feel like when you're a young couple and you guys don't live together, this happens because of 1, miscommunication. Number 2, insecurity and overthinking, which I feel like, to be honest, is the main one on the list. Because you don't get that daily in-person reassurance. So you start analyzing every little thing, like a delayed response to your text. The next one is different routines, because when you guys don't have the same routine, it's hard to find the time to spend with each other, especially over the phone. And especially when you're young too, because if your family wants to have dinner together between 7 and 8 o'clock, you can't be on the phone with your significant other while you're having dinner at the dinner table. And then the other one has to go to sleep because they have to wake up early. So it's shitty. But then I think one other thing is probably the lack of shared experiences, because whenever you're able to hang out with your significant other all the time, you guys bond over the little things like doing chores together and just downtime together. Without that, I feel like it's hard to stay emotionally connected. Anyways, yeah, that's my opinion. Back to the story. So like I said, we broke up in June of 2020. And this was upsetting because we had just gotten out of lockdown and he just bought his own car. So now he would have been able to come and see me whenever he wanted. But COVID put such a strain on our relationship that at that point it seemed like we couldn't fix it. So then fast forward to the day after we broke up. I get a text from him and he asks if he could pick me up and we could go for coffee and talk about things. And so I was super excited about this until he texts me later as in when we're supposed to get coffee. And he says, "Sorry, I can't come and pick you up anymore. One of my friends doesn't have a ride home from work, so I have to go and pick her up." And instantly in my head, I'm like, her? Who the F is her? What do you mean? And he was like, "Oh, it's Amber from school." And I know who the fuck Amber is because this girl had a crush on him our entire relationship. And I get that Grayson was just trying to be a good guy and give a friend a ride home. But I know damn well she knew that we were broken up and she saw this as an opportunity to swoop in and take my man. I mean, I guess if we're being honest, I couldn't really be mad because I broke up with him first. So I played it nonchalant and I was like, okay, that's fine. We can go another day. But then more and more days went by and we never ended up going for coffee. In fact, you know what did happen as these days passed? Him and Amber started dating. And I'm not gonna lie, that felt like a slap in the face. Because how can driving a girl home one time change your mind about wanting to fix things with the girl that you had been with for about 2 years? I just don't get it, but whatever. A quick thing about Amber is she loves drama. More specifically, she loves starting drama and making up rumors. So obviously, she used this situation as a way to try and start drama with me because she started sending me pictures off of Grayson's phone of her and him together. Oh, and she started posting this necklace that said Grayson on it all over her social media, which I knew she was doing literally just to piss me off. And if I'm being honest, it really did work because him and I had dated for, like I said, about 2 years. And I never got anything from him. But I decided not to let this bother me. Thankfully, during that summer, Jake was there to help me through the breakup, which led to him and I getting super close. Like, he was always at my house, but something always felt off. It was like my heart knew that I should have been with Grayson instead of Jake. But eventually I thought to myself, you know, I had a crush on him from kindergarten to the beginning of my freshman year in high school. I felt like I owed it to myself to give him and I a chance and see where it could go. And for the most part, things were good at first until the one night Jake and I decided to get drunk at my house and we went into the hot tub. And I don't know what it is about a hot tub, but for some reason it intensifies the effects of alcohol or of being drunk. To the point where I felt sick. So I got out of the hot tub. I'm like, I feel like I can barely walk up to my room. So Jake helps me upstairs. I just wanted to go to sleep, but after we got changed, he was sitting on the edge of my bed and he told me to come over to him. Okay, everyone, there is going to be a trigger warning in here for SA. It's nothing too detailed. It doesn't go that far. But still, if this makes you feel in any way uncomfortable, please skip to this part of the video. So as I walk over to him, he pulls me into his lap and he started getting extremely handsy. I kept telling him to stop and eventually I ended up pushing him off of me because he wouldn't fucking listen. After I pushed him off of me, I told him, get the hell out of my fucking house. I didn't stop talking to him after this though. I told myself that just because that happened, he wasn't a bad guy. So after that, things were a little bit awkward, but I wouldn't say things changed until we got into our junior year of high school. He never wanted to talk to me in school. And it wasn't like I was a loser. So to this day, I don't understand why he was embarrassed to be seen with me, let alone talking to me. But also, even if I was a loser, we're in 11th grade. Grow up. Like, he would say hi to me in the hallway if nobody else was around. But other than that, I would just be ignored until late at night when he wanted to come over and hang out. Very quickly, I realized that he was trying to use me. And I'm sorry, but I am nobody's booty call. So fast forward to the end of October, I'm missing Grayson like crazy. And I feel like we are interlinked because literally the morning while I'm getting ready for school after I had just, thinking to myself that I miss him, he adds me on Snapchat. I was so happy, but I was also nervous because like I told you before, Amber loved to start drama. So I didn't know that if he was going to confront me about something that she said or what. But instead, he asked me how I was and told me that he wanted to catch up and be friends. But I had been missing him so much that even if we were just friends, I was okay with it. I just wanted him in my life. And within only a few minutes of that first message, we fell back into our rhythm. It was like we hadn't skipped a beat. And we cut up on everything. I couldn't pay attention at all that day during school because I was buried in my phone talking to him all day. Fast forward a few weeks later, this girl in my first period class runs over to me and I'm like, oh God, what the fuck is she about to say? Because she had this look of like terror on her face. But yeah, she came over to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I saw Amber and Grayson's best friend doing the nasty last night in the parking lot. And I was in shock. I was like, do you have any proof? Because when I'm about to spill some tea, I like to come with receipts. But she said no. So in my head, I'm like, fuck, okay. Now that Grayson and I are friends, a friend would tell him if some shit's going on. But I decide to tell him, and he didn't believe me. I can't say that I'm surprised, honestly, because of course, whenever he confronted Amber, she denied it. But then this rumor started to spread like a lot, and it ended up coming out that she did cheat on Grayson with his best friend. So he ended it with her, and I was so happy, not because he got cheated on, because he was literally the sweetest man alive and he did not deserve that, but because that was my man. My man. So he asked to see me the day after this. Of course, I say yes. And as soon as I saw him, I ran up to him and we kissed. Eventually, we ended up apologizing to each other later though, but we honestly just couldn't help it. It felt so normal. So at this point, we know we're getting back together. Like, there's no question at all. We know. But the only issue was that during this time, I was still talking to Jake. I mean, barely, because since I wasn't letting him use me to be a booty call, we wouldn't really talk that much over the phone or anything like that. Because like I told you guys, he didn't want to be seen with me or anything like that. But I may or may not have created some unnecessary drama when I Snapchatted Jake a picture of Grayson and I holding hands and Grayson sticking up the middle finger. Oh, and when I said I may or may not have, I definitely did cause a lot of drama by doing this. And I think the only reason why there was a ton of drama was because Jake's ego took a massive hit. So fast forward to the night after this, him and I weren't officially dating still, but people knew that we were seeing each other again. And while Grayson, myself, and his friends are all hanging out, all of a sudden, Amber shows up to where we are. And she was threatening to unalive herself. Yeah. So Grayson, being the good guy that he is, he went to go and comfort her. And listen, this might sound insensitive, but I was annoyed because she threatened to do this multiple times. Multiple fucking times. AKA threatening to unalive herself. So Grayson goes and he talks to her, and then Grayson calls one of his friends and he's like, yeah, y'all need to hide her because Psycho's threatening to kill her. So I end up hiding in the back of one of his friends' cars, and I had a lot of anxiety, as you can imagine, but it was really nice because his friends were actually really nice and comforting, telling me that they weren't going to let anything happen to me. She never ended up catching me that day, but she wasn't the end of my problems because, you know, we have Jake over here tailgating me because, listen, Jake and I live in the same neighborhood, hence why we are on the same school bus. And sometimes we would see each other driving. Well, now because of this, he thought that it was funny to mess with me by riding my ass while I'm driving, or whenever he was in front of me, brake checking me. And this wasn't like a one-time incident. This had gotten to the point where I had to have my friends drive in front and behind me, so that way he couldn't do this shit to me. Now back to Amber. I have her spreading rumors that Grayson got me pregnant and then left me. Like, I swear, y'all, it does not end. It never ends. And then she goes and she texts Grayson a picture of a pregnancy test saying that she's pregnant. But thank God for Google image search, because we searched that shit and yeah, that was basically the first picture that popped up, was the fucking picture that she sent. Then whenever she realized that Grayson wasn't going to get back with her, what does she do? She comes to school with a black eye, telling everybody that Grayson abused her. To this day, I still don't know how she got that black eye. But after this, everybody's texting me, asking me if I'm okay and if he was doing the same shit to me. And I felt really bad because Grayson would never do anything like this. And he's such a good guy. He does not deserve this shit. Oh, and then I have Jake going around school telling everybody that I slept with him, even though I would literally never. That's so fucking gross. He even told this to Grayson. And obviously he didn't believe Jake because he knows me too well. Oh, and Grayson and all of his friends were already graduated. So they had no idea what was really going on at school with me. Now, as if the stuff with Jake and his friends wasn't bad enough, when he realized that he couldn't tailgate me anymore, him and his friends started drifting their cars in the parking lot towards mine and almost hitting me multiple times. I tell the principal. But surprise, surprise, the schools aren't any better in Canada than they are in the US. Because the principal, he said he'll handle it. And then I hear an announcement on the speaker saying, boys, stop drifting in the parking lot or there's going to be consequences. Which, you know, it would have just helped if he would have took their fucking parking passes away. Which I think that's what they should have done. Because what would have happened if I got hit and killed and crushed between myself and my car? But yeah, now they just did it even more. And not only that, But the one day, Jake got way too close to hitting my car to the point where he even scared himself. Like, he got out of his car and checked to make sure that he didn't hit my car or his. And that's when I went over to him and I start screaming, saying something along the lines of, "What the hell is wrong with you? You could have hit me, you dumb fuck. Leave me the fuck alone, you fucking weirdo." After this, I was really done and I told Grayson about this and he ended up threatening Jake. But Jake wanted to try to bother me one more time because when Grayson, his friends, and I were all at my house having a fire, I get a text from Jake and he's like, "Can I come over?" And I'm like, "You know that I'm with Grayson. Stop texting me." And he's like, "You know what? I'm coming over right now." So then one of Grayson's friends grabs the phone and they threaten Jake. And after that, he leaves me alone for good. Thank goodness. As for Amber, she started dating Grayson's best friend, the one that she cheated on him with, but she was still really bitter about the fact that I was back with Grayson. She would make super passive aggressive TikToks about me, talking about how she was prettier than me, and then she would post sad ones about how Grayson will never love her, blah, 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 he broke her heart, this, that, and the next. It's like, girl, be so fucking for real. But honestly, that was all internet drama. She never actually said or did anything to me, even though she said that she was going to fight me and unalive me. But fast forward to 2025, I'm now 21 years old and I'm still with Grayson. And even though we did break up for 4 months, because yes, we literally only broke up for 4 months. She had that man for 4 months before she cheated on him. Okay. Anyways, overall, we've been together for the past 7 years, and I cannot be more happy. He's always treated me amazingly, and he continues to every day make me feel like the only girl in the world, and I don't know what I would do without him. All that unnecessary drama honestly made us realize how much we love each other, and that we really do not want to be with any of these other psychos in the world except for each other. Also, all of his friends and I are like family and they all have girlfriends now. So now we all go on like double, quadruple dates. Also, that necklace that Amber had that said Grayson on it that always pissed me off. Because yes, it still pissed me off to this day. Until a week ago, I finally asked him about it. And he told me that she bought it for herself. Who does that? Anyways, well played, Amber. You managed to get under my skin with that one, but he's still my man. Anyways, as for Jake, I haven't talked to him since that one night at my house. I don't know what he does, where he is, or to be honest, if he's even still my neighbor. But as for Amber, she found a new guy to make miserable. She's also pregnant now, and she hasn't bothered us for a few years. But in all honesty, I hope that she's doing well, and I hope that this baby really changes her for the better. Okay, everybody, that is the end of today's story time. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button down below. And if you want to know whenever I post my next video, make sure to click that bell. And if you guys want to send in your anonymous story time, or you want to know how to send in your anonymous story time, make sure to click the links down below in the description. But other than that, I will see you guys next time with a new story time.